Welcome to another creative experiment with me, Tammy Collins. Today's experiment is inspired by this ice cream cone. That's right. And here's the original piece of work that I did that I love so much that I decided to experiment with it on a denim jacket. Here's the front of what we're doing, and here's the back. So this was kind of a fun project and really quite simple. Here's some captures of me just applying the paint to the jacket. Because the way I did this project, I didn't record every single detail, but if you're following me, you have a general idea of how I go about doing these pieces of artwork. And so I put the shapes on here. I used a stencil, I did some freehand doodling, and then I just colored in the shapes, just like I've been doing everything else. And now I'm going back and adding in some more detail. And I originally did not plan to do a video on this until after I was sort of midway through and thought, oh darn, I should have been recording this. So rather than not record it, I'm jumping in to it midway, and I think you'll be able to figure out and be able to, replicate if you wanted to experiment with the same concept. And I'm just using acrylic paint pens, and we have some regular colors, and then we have some metallic, and now I'm using a gel ink pen, which I'm not 100% thrilled with this. This is a Sharpie brand, but I like the Pilot G2, but I've been out of that. And I just remembered that I actually did pick up one of those, so I'm going to switch over to that in a minute. And I apologize, my face is getting in here because you guys see my nose there, because I really got to get in close to see this here. It's a little bit fidgety because it is on the fabric. And I'm just doing like I would do in any of my other processes where I take and outline my shape with the black gel, and also the outline that's in the metallic. So this is an experiment. Right now, these first couple shapes, I actually used a gold metallic. It's a Posca pen, and I didn't like the gold. I didn't think it showed up quite so well, so I switched over to this color, which is called bronze, and I think that was a much better look. So these first couple ones here that I just did, they're in gold, and you can see they don't kind of stand out that well. And but that's okay. I just left it. It's not really a big deal. And I didn't exactly copy the piece of artwork, meaning that I just used all of the elements and the colors and kind of did a different variation of it here on the denim. I wanted it to sort of fit into this back panel, and I wanted to do the front two shoulder panels. I've done some hand-painted denim jackets in the past, and I really like them, and I really wanted to do more of them. And I actually have quite a few of these denim jackets, and I'm thinking about doing a whole series of these, so I wanted to play around with it. So here, I switched over to the Pilot pen. This works much better. And again, this is an experiment. I will heat set this when it's all done. And as with any hand-painted wearable art, you're going to have to be careful with it when you wash it. You can certainly wash it, but you just want to sort of hand wash it in cool water, and you don't really want to over dry it, if you will. But a little bit of heat in the dryer is actually a good thing. It will continue to heat set it and help maintain it. So you don't want to overdo it, but... And so I'm just going to show you each of the techniques that I do, and then I'll kind of do more of it and come back. So I'm sort of skipping along. I don't want the video to be, overly drug out. I'm just trying to show you how I did this and what the process was, so that if you wanted to have some fun and experiment with this, you could thrift a denim jacket. You've probably got one in your closet somewhere. This is strictly Posca paint pens and a gel ink pen. You could use a very thin Posca pen. I just happen to be out of my favorite thin black one, so I'm just using this Sharpie. Um, I believe that once it's heat set, it will wear very well, only because I've done this type of thing before. But I really love this piece that's inspired by this ice cream cone. You know, it sort of feels a little bit like a giraffe, which I also love. But these shapes were kind of inspired by the waffle cone. You know, the shapes on the waffle cone become sort of distorted like this, and I don't know. It just this is what came of that photo that I was inspired by. It is a little bit fidgety. I do have I don't know what they're called. They're the circular wood hoops that you use to secure, you know, when you're doing like needlepoint and that sort of thing. I'm completely blank on what they're called at the moment. But I do have some of those. You could put the coat or the jacket in one of those to really tighten it up. However, I really want the surface that I'm working on is very firm. It's a glass top, so it's very firm, so it's really allowing me to make a nice line. If I were to put this in the form, it wouldn't I wouldn't be able to do that. So I opted to not do that. You could certainly do that. I did need to do a couple of coats, the lighter pastel colors like the pink and the white, and you know I sort of have this ivory color, which is a little yellow, and then a little bit of a peach color. I did go over those colors twice. And I also did go over the brown twice just to make them really nice and opaque. And so now I'm just adding in some detail here, sort of the loose cobblestone shapes, if you will, that I like to do. I'm just going to add those in just to give it some more interest. We have some small white dots that I outlined there on the bottom left with the pen, and we have some larger brown dots on the upper left corner that I outlined with black and an ink pen, and just to give it some more interest. There are again images and elements, mark making that came from the original piece. So I did not do this in my normal one-time creative space. I had to do this in a couple of different. It actually probably took me 3 of my creative times. So it's a few hours. It's a good day's work if you were to start at the beginning of the day and go through the whole day. It would take it a complete day, maybe into a second day, depending on how much detail you wanted in here. And so there you can see I've completed all of that. And now we're going to go around to the front of the jacket, which same thing, I had just put on the shapes there and added in some doodle. And now I'm going to color in. So now you can see how I did the back. I'm just coloring it on. It's a little fidgety there because it wants to slip off. Because I'm trying to keep it in a particular spot so that it's always under the camera for you to see. So this particular color that I'm using right now, I believe is called Ivory. And it actually looks like a very pastel yellow when it's on the denim, which I actually liked because it really was a nice complement to the other colors that I was using here. So in theory, we're using brown and pink and yellow, and then there's like a peach color and a white. And then we have the bronze metallic. That's kind of our color scheme. I did not create a color swatch for this particular project, but if you would like one, you can let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to get that to you. This is a really fun project to do. I really wanted to experiment with doing sort of this intuitive doodle style on the jacket. I've done some other jackets. I actually have a jacket I did years ago that has giraffe print on it, and then I have a few other ones that are very abstract and inspired by leaves. But let me know what you think about this. Is this something you would wear? What do you think about this? I have quite a few of these denim jackets in this light um, denim and a dark denim, and they are very soft, stretchable denim. They're brand new jackets. I think their retail value was about $78 or $79.50 or something like that. But I have I think I have about 3 dozen of these. I may have done a couple, so I might be down to about 30, something like that. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Actually, I'd love to know what you would like to see on these jackets. I'm thinking about doing sort of a wild print series, if you will, like giraffe print. This one here could kind of fit into that space. Maybe a zebra, maybe a snake skin, maybe a crocodile skin. I don't know. I've got some ideas that I want to try. But maybe you have seen some of my other work, and maybe you'd like to see one of those. I actually have a bunch of pieces in an exhibit right now, and one of those is peonies and honeycombs, and I'm actually thinking that would make a great design for this jacket now that I think about it. But if you really wanted to see that, you could see that on my website, either under the originals or the prints. The peonies and honeycomb, I believe it's called, is there. There's another one, elderberries and butterflies. That would probably make a great one too. It's really cold here today. You can see I'm all layered up. I've got my long sleeve thermal shirt on. I've got my I call these like sock sleeves. I don't even know what they are. I think they're actually like leg warmers or designed to wear over your socks under your boots, but I put them on my arms. And then I have my big sweater on, and I'm really I'm really getting in your space here today with this, how close I feel like I need to be. What do you think about wearable art in this fashion? You know, in sort of a hand painted denim. You know, would it be neat to see these on a matching pair of jeans or something with this jacket? I don't know. What do you think? I love the originality of it. I love that it can really help you express your personality and your style, and just I feel like it says so much about someone. You know, when you meet them and they have such a great piece of clothing on, especially when you know, they've taken some care to layer or combine interesting pieces and colors and textures. It really says a lot about them. It's a really great way to express creativity, which many people probably don't even realize or think about. I love to layer, I love to mix textures. Um, it's got to be comfortable for me. of course that's only if I'm going to be out in public with seeing people, but just around the house here, it's going to be some you know layers with just I do have some like skirts that I wear that have layers and fringe, and to throw leggings and high boot socks and that kind of thing. I don't know why I'm on the path of clothing. I guess because we're doing hand painted clothing today. So you can see it's relatively easy. I mean, you just got to take your time, and the fabric, if you will, is a heavy texture. So when you're running your marker or your pen across there, it has a texture. So you're just going to go a little slower. Sometimes you have to go back depending on the way you're hitting the grain and how it takes on the ink. I just did one of these recently for someone who wanted their logo on the back of the jacket. They run an upholstery business, and they wanted their logo on the back. That came out really nice. She couldn't believe that it wasn't stitched. Now there are different ways to paint fabric. There is an actual medium that you can use and put that on. You mix it into the paint and then paint onto the material. It makes it flexible. But I have found that with these paint markers, it's not needed. Once these are heat set, these really do a great job. They wear well. Now, I don't know about the metallic. That's a new... I would have to imagine that metallic might have a little bit more difficulty holding up over many different washes. But I don't know. We'll see. This is an experiment, so we'll see how it goes. I find that using the paint markers makes this a much more... The project is a lot more fun to do. And depending on the color of your fabric, you may have to put a base coat on first. So, for example, this jacket here is a very light denim, so it falls more into that white space. So I am okay with just going straight color on there. But if this were a dark colored denim, I would probably have to put a light color on first and then put in the color on top of that. Just because it's like painting on anything else that's dark. If you're putting a light color on a dark item, it's going to take it's going to soak up, if you will. So you need to sort of create a barrier, and by putting the white on first, it allows you to be able to get the color on there. So maybe next time I'll do something on a darker jacket so we can see how that process goes. If you're interested, let me know. But you can see there, look at how that little black line around the shape and around the border really make that piece pop. It just comes to life. And now I've finished this jacket, but I'm still on the fence of whether or not I'm going to come back in and add some other detail. So right now I'm letting it be. I've set it aside, and I'll come back to it and visit it in a few days, maybe next week, and see if I want to add anything else to it. I have some thoughts about maybe making it look as though there's, I don't know, some random pieces sort of falling off down the sleeve, or I'm not really sure yet, but I don't know. If you have an idea, let me know. I think one of the things that may be intimidating about this project for many is the fact that it feels so permanent because it's on clothing. Excuse me. So it's as if what you do, you can't make a mistake. And so that could be one barrier that keeps you from playing around with this. So in that case, go to the thrift store and pick something up for pick something. The thrift stores usually have a color tag that's half price, or find something super inexpensive, a pair, just any pair of jeans. It's a couple bucks, a jacket, anything, and just experiment on that and get a feel for it first. And that'll overcome that barrier, and then there's really no harm, no foul. The second thing that's probably a barrier for someone to try this project is the composition. How do you want the design to lay out on the jacket? So take some cues from this video. If you notice, I had a photo that inspired a design, and then I made a piece, a mixed media piece from that. And I loved that piece so much. You'll see that in a lot of my work and my YouTube header and all kinds. I just really love that piece, and I wanted to do more with it. And so I thought, oh, let me try it here. And again, I didn't duplicate it exactly. I just was inspired by it and put the same processes and techniques onto this denim jacket. So the idea wasn't to totally replicate it, but it was to have sort of the same look and feel. I do feel like I want to add a little bit more of mark making. I'm just undecided on what that is, so I'm going to let it be and we'll revisit it. If I do add any more, of course I'll do an update on it. I hope you're enjoying this video. I hope you're enjoying my channel. I am hoping to inspire you to create whatever that creative energy may be for you, whether it's painting or drawing or collage or mixed media or journaling or organizing or cooking or many things fall into a space of exercising or having an outlet for your creativity. And I'm just sharing my journey back to spending time with my creativity and what that looks like, with the idea for you to understand that things are perfectly imperfect and not every creative time goes exactly as planned, and that's okay. It's what you learned from the time that you spent that matters. If you're new here, please like and subscribe and check out some of the other videos. If you're returning, I thank you for continuing to come back and see what I'm up to. I'd love to know where you're from, where in the world are you, maybe what country or what state are you watching from. And maybe I'd love to know also, how much time do you dedicate to your creative time in a week or a day? Or, I try to spend about an hour every day, or like 5 days a week at least. And that's been a process to get back to that space. But I'd love to know. I'm curious what that looks like for you. How much time do you spend, and what do you do in that time? Do you journal? Do you write? Do you color? Do you paint? Do you do paper crafts? What is it that you do? If you don't do anything, then tell me what you would like to do, and tell me what prevents you from doing it. There are things in life that kind of keep us from doing these types of things. But don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, and be sure to hit the bell notification so you're aware of any new videos that come out. Liking the video is important because it helps other people that have an interest in it find the video. Just going over those black doodle lines one more time. They don't feel quite as crisp as they should. I will leave this jacket sit, like I said, and take another look at it and see if anything needs another, another layer, if you will. And there I'm just going around the shapes with the bronze. And we're just going to repeat everything that we've been doing on the jacket, adding in the black gel, the metallic, and then the black gel lines, and then some detail in some of the doodle shapes. And I am kind of like, you can see I'm kind of going back and forth. Like if you imagine this, I'm sort of working the paint into the fabric a little bit so that it soaks up, if you will. And we're going to jump ahead here in a little bit, and I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but we're almost about to wrap this up, and you'll get to see everything again. So there's the front, all done. And then the back, all done. And don't forget, if you like, you can buy me a cup of coffee. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.